The New York Knicks just picked up another big win and bounced back from last week's rough patch and sit at 10-6 on the season so far, but do not let the record fool you. This team is entering one of the most important stretches of the year, and the front office is already quietly preparing for major decisions that could reshape the rotation, the trade deadline strategy, and even the long-term direction of the roster. We're talking about the backup point guard situation, Landry Shamet's brutal shoulder injury, and his January 10th guarantee date decision, Tyler Kolek suddenly making the Knicks rethink their deadline plans, Pacome Dadiet's status as the likeliest trade chip, and now a brand new trade idea being floated publicly that absolutely fits New York's cap reality. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get right into it. First, let's start with the on-court reality. Without OG Anunoby and even Mitchell Robinson last game with an illness, and now with Shamet again sidelined for a long period of time most likely, Mike Brown has had to adjust. And to his credit, the Knicks have responded. The win over Brooklyn was exactly the kind of get-right performance that fans needed. Cat was dominant with 37 points and 12 rebounds, finally shot the ball well for the first time in a while. Brunson was in full control and the defense did just enough. But underneath all that, the real storyline was the rotation. Brown went 9.5 deep again. Tyler Kolek played meaningful minutes. Diawara saw the floor a bit. Hukporti got another look with 13 minutes played. These are not garbage fillers anymore. These are real tests and the front office is watching them closely. Now the biggest surprise is Tyler Kolek. A few weeks ago, Ian Begley reported that the Knicks were preparing to target a backup point guard at the deadline. They wanted someone to stabilize the second unit so that Deuce can play full-time off-ball and focus on shot creation instead of running the offense. But Kolek has single-handedly forced his way into the conversation. 17 minutes against Brooklyn, 5 assists, which is a season high this year, 3 rebounds, 2 points, but more importantly, control. He didn't look scared, he didn't look rushed, and he defended. And if he continues to give Brown these competent minutes, the Knicks may pause the entire backup PG search. It may shift the entire deadline strategy, because the truth is this: if you do not need a backup point guard, suddenly another position becomes the priority. OG will probably remain out for at least another week or two, and Shamet is out for a long stretch now most likely. The wing depth is thin, and if you're Mike Brown, you're looking at your bench saying, I need another big defender or another shot maker more than I need another ball handler. That is exactly why the Pacome Dadiet situation has become so important, because every insider says the same thing. Pacome is the most likely young player to be moved if the Knicks need to free up second apron breathing room. Kolek still does not have league-wide value. Hukporti does not have league-wide value as well. Pacome does, but he doesn't help the Knicks win games this season. He's 20 years old, still raw offensively, more of a spot-up shooter right now, and Mike Brown wasn't part of the staff that drafted him, and that matters. Multiple teams have confirmed the Knicks called to gauge his value in training camp, and then Jake Fisher said that teams around the league believed the Knicks were showcasing Pacome by starting him during preseason. That's not nothing, that's smoke pointing to fire. And now we have a new wrinkle. Clutch Point's Kris Pursiainen floated a trade idea in a recent podcast that actually makes sense for where the Knicks are financially. The idea is simple: Pacome Dadiet to the Nets for Tyrese Martin and maybe a second round pick. This is not some blockbuster, this is a cap and flexibility move. Martin is a plug-and-play depth wing with no guaranteed role and no expectation of minutes as of right now. Meanwhile, moving Pacome frees up second apron room and opens another roster spot later in the season. It aligns almost perfectly with what Bobby Marks and Begley have been saying. It's not flashy, but it's realistic, and that's exactly why it's worth monitoring. Now let's get to the other major decision, Landry Shamet. This one is tough because Shamet earned the respect of this front office last season and even this year. Rightfully so, they like him, they trust him, and he knows the system, but his right shoulder keeps popping out. This is the second dislocation in a year. And the Knicks have to decide by January 10th whether to guarantee his contract or waive him to free up a roster spot. Right now, with his injury and with no clear timeline, the front office has to consider waiving him and bringing him back mid-season on a prorated veteran deal if he's healthy. That's exactly what they did with PJ Tucker last year, and if the Knicks move Pacome, that gives them flexibility to add another free agent or keep Shamet's spot open. But all of this ties together. If Kolek keeps playing well, they do not need a backup point guard, and if Shamet does not get healthy, that opens a wing spot. And if Pacome gets moved, that opens apron room. All of this is interconnected. Meanwhile, OG Anunoby is still at least 1 or 2 weeks away. The Knicks desperately miss his defensive impact and the schedule is getting tougher. And even though Brunson is looking back to full strength, the team is nowhere near complete without OG and Shamet. That's why the front office is being aggressive behind the scenes and not complacent. They know that this roster has to be better in April than in November. But the biggest piece of all of this, and the thing that Knicks fans need to understand, is that nothing is locked in right now. The Knicks are evaluating, Mike Brown and Leon Rose are evaluating, and the next 2 to 3 weeks will determine everything. Will Kolek keep his spot? Will Shamet force his way back into the rotation? Will Pacome be traded? Will the Knicks actually pursue another wing? Will the backup point guard search officially die? These next few games will answer all of that. And when you zoom out, it shows just how unique this season is. For the first time in 25 years, the Knicks are operating like a true contender. They're not chasing the 6th seed, they're not praying for the play-in spots, they're making decisions with April, May, and June in mind. And the fact that we're even having these conversations in terms of backup point guard or extra wings, Shamet guarantee or open roster spot, and Pacome showcase or rotation project, it's a sign of where this franchise is right now. High expectations, real pressure, and a front office trying to squeeze every ounce of value from every roster spot. So if you're a real Knicks fan, buckle up because the next few weeks are going to be crazy. This is KNYT, let's ride. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and sub to the channel for more Knicks news and updates you will not want to miss all season long. It's been KNYT here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.